take a moment to share with you some of the details about our tenant screening and application process. So, we receive all of our rental applications online, which is very standard these days. Tenants are used to that. And when we receive applications, we're going to process those in the order in which they're received. So, it's a first come, first serve basis. And that first come, first serve basis is important to make sure that we're staying on the right side of any legal liabilities in terms of fair housing. And I also want to add that we won't begin processing an application until we have everything needed. And by that, I mean all adults who are going to live at the property are required to fill out an application. And every application that we receive must include pay stubs, bank statements, and some other reference documents that we're going to examine as we process that applicant and try and decide if they're going to pass our screening criteria or not. So once we have all the necessary documents and every adult who's going to live at the property has applied, we'll begin the screening process. And the first thing we're going to do is actually there's five main areas that we're looking at for rental screening. I call it the big five. You have credit history, criminal history, eviction history, rental history, meaning where they've lived in the recent past, and then income. And we verify income by looking at pay stubs and bank statements. So we're looking at their credit score, and their credit history. Do they have a history of making on-time payments? Credit score we find is very predictive, and we've done a lot of studies and historical analysis on this. We have found that credit score is extremely powerful in terms of determining if someone's going to be a good tenant, pay the rent on time, not tear up the property, not get evicted, things like that. So that's one of the most important things that we look at. Criminal history, of course, we want to make sure we're not placing somebody who's going to be a danger to other people who live potentially in the community or in the same building. Eviction history goes without saying, someone who's recently been evicted, not likely to be a good resident. And then income, of course, we use 3 times the rent. So if they are to qualify for a specific home, they need to show combined monthly household income of at least 3 times the rent in order to qualify. And then finally, rental history. So we talk to their current and previous landlords, and we get confirmation back that they were indeed a good tenant. They paid the rent on time. They didn't leave with a big balance or damage the property in any significant way. So once we have an applicant group or an applicant who passes all of those criteria, we will go ahead and approve them and extend them and offer to sign the lease.